What's up, YouTube? It is Josh Pillault, the RuneScape Felon. This time we're back with a little bit different of a video. A little bit of a different video here. You may have noticed I didn't blow my vape cloud in your face for the intro. For the first time, I'm trying to make a YouTube video with our good Canon EOS camera. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out. I'm going to have to use editing software I've never used before, so please be patient with me. But I have a lot of stuff to show you in this video, and rather than using my iMovie as I have always done on my phone, it has a lot of trouble with picture-in-picture videos, and you know, putting pictures on the screen, sometimes it won't show up right, sometimes they're not big enough, etc., etc. So I decided that I'm going to actually use editing software and try to put some effort into this video, because it's probably the most important and serious video that I've made on my channel yet. And this is answering a question that I get asked almost constantly, which is, why did my ex-girlfriends testify against me? Because every time that people copy-paste stuff from the government-written case law file, when they're hating on me in YouTube sections or whatever, or they come in to talk shit to me in my Twitch stream or whatever it may be, the number one thing that they like to say is testimony from two ex-girlfriends, ex-girlfriend one and girlfriend two and whatever. And I found out right after I got released from prison the first time in September of 2017, I learned the truth about why one of them did it. And at least from her perspective. So let me start this off by saying, everything in this video, legally speaking, is speculation. I don't have hard evidence that this is true. I'm not saying that when I discuss this story, this is from her perspective of what she told me. I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying it unfolded this way. This is allegedly, according to her, according to what I was told by the girl that testified against me, that this is what happened. So there's no slander, there's no libel here. You got to take this with a grain of salt. It's up to you whether or not you believe her side of the story. I heard this rumor when I was in prison from a family member of mine is a lawyer in my hometown, and he heard this through the grapevine. I asked her about it. She denied it. And then we moved forward. Okay? And you will see what happened shortly thereafter. Now, it's a little bit complicated. There's going to be two different prosecutors we're talking about. I've got no names in this. I'm not going to tell you guys her name. I'm not going to say the prosecutors' names. I'm not going to say the victims' names, etc., etc. We're going to refer to her to them as her and she, you know, my ex-girlfriend. And then we've got prosecutor one and briefly prosecutor number two. Okay, guys? So, let's get started with this. Remember, this is all speculation. This is all her side of the story. For what it's worth, I would like to say, I believe her. As for whether or not you do, or whether or not you think I faked this evidence or whatever, that's fine with you. But I have text messages from this girl saved where she explained everything. These pictures are 3 years old now. Actually, slightly over 3 years old now. I got these in September of 2017, shortly after my first release from prison. And the story's a little complicated to keep up with, but if you keep your eyes peeled and you pay close attention, I think that you're going to learn some very shocking things about exactly why one of my ex-girlfriends testified against me. I can offer speculation on the other one towards the end of the video. So let's get started. I'm really hoping that I need minimal editing with this because I've never used the editing software that I'm going to use. And if the video and the audio are slightly out of sync, I apologize. I'm trying to use my microphone, shout out to George Peter voiceover, with Audacity, and then film this with the Canon. And we're going to try to sync them up later so I can put the pictures on the screen with a little bit more ease than I do it in iMovie. Background information. When I was in prison, a lawyer member of my family told me that he heard that one of the ex-girlfriends that lied about me was involved in a sexual relationship with prosecutor number two's son, who was underage at the time. And that through prosecution, this was discovered, she was charged with some very, very nasty things, and therefore was told that if she flopped on me and said what they wanted her to say about me, that her charges would all disappear. Okay, now I was unable to find any record of her arrest. I was unable to find any record that she was arrested at all. There was no news. There was no... That kind of confirms to me that she's telling the truth. Okay? Normally when the FBI comes to get you, they're very loud and open about it. They bring the boys. They bring the SWAT team. They got the trucks out there. Not necessarily the SWAT team. In my case, it was because I'm a terrorist. They come loud and proud when they arrest you. The fact that they tried to keep this hush-hush in the first place just kind of confirms her story to me. She told me point blank that there was nothing in the media about it at all. Now, these text messages, I believe, take place over the course of 2 days. I've tried very hard to put them in chronological order, mostly judging by the time of the text, but it seems that we talked about this for 2 days and there are different text messages. This was 3 years ago. If you're wondering about what phone I was texting on, it was an old $50 Alcatel phone that that my mom got me when I first got out of prison because we didn't know if I could have a smartphone at the halfway house or not. So that's what the quality of this is. Some of the dates look like they're around this time period, but I got a Samsung Galaxy for Christmas of 2017, and then when I got out of prison this time, I've had an iPhone the entire time. So I mean, this isn't even my phone anymore. You can tell by the quality of the screenshots that it was a cheap phone, and this was quite a few number of years ago. So let's get started. Again, for real this time. Okay, so jumping right into it and hoping against hope that as you're watching this, that the text messages will appear on the screen. That means I succeeded in figuring out how to edit this video. She danced around the topic for a moment, okay? I mentioned that I had asked her about this rumor that I heard that she had been involved with one of the prosecutor's sons. We'll go on to more info in that in a minute, because this prosecutor actually did not touch my case. This prosecutor, I don't think he filed any motions for me. I don't think that he ever showed up in court. I mean, motions against me. Because his older daughter, was in my class in high school. If he would have tried to prosecute me to the fullest extent of the law, it would have been a conflict of interest, and my case would have had to go to another district, and they clearly did not want that to happen. So the prosecutor number 2 did not work on my case. He is still a federal prosecutor that worked with prosecutor number 1. They're still both federal prosecutors in the same office. I guarantee you he still helped with the research and stuff, but he did not touch my case in a way that was publicly available, because it would have been conflict of interest, and I could have got the whole case thrown out or sent to another district. So clearly, she decided it was time to come clean about this. Her text says, "You can't forgive me." She said, "Can I tell you something?" And a lot of this is censored, not just for her names and their names, but also because it's legally sensitive for any future actions that may arise. And again, this is all to be taken with a grain of salt. This is her side of the story. What she said happened. I'm not saying it happened. She said, "Can I tell you something?" Censored out for legal reasons. I said, "Yes, of course. I know this is going to hurt." I had a feeling what was coming. As you can see at the bottom here, she said that rumor was true. As you can see, I said, "I know that." I had a pretty good feeling about it beforehand. I said, "What I don't know is, did they set you up or did you get caught?" She says, "Kind of both. It was a total mess." I said, "Tell me about it, please." And then I said, and you guys can forgive me, I was kind of having a little bit of an emotional attack as this was going on and this was unfolding, because it was becoming clear to me that I served someone else's time. I have no hard feelings against this girl. She was scared to death. This made so much more sense to me when I learned about this. But you'll see that I was quite emotional. So please forgive me saying anything that seems a little too dark or a little too sweet or a little over the top. It was very emotionally overwhelming for me to learn that I had literally gone to prison for her crime. So I said, "I knew it. Oh, finally, I knew you wouldn't do that to me." This is censored for legal purposes again, but I put a little bit of text on the screen when we were editing these out. She said it was prosecutor number 2's son and his best friend is who she had sex with simultaneously, okay? Prosecutor number 2's daughter found out about it. So that was her little brother. This girl had sex with the prosecutor's son and his best friend. That same prosecutor's daughter found out about it, okay? So she says it was these two guys, but his sister found out and was pissed for whatever reason and told her parents that I took advantage of them. It was a mess. And I said, at the same time, right? Because she had sexual relations with both of these guys at the same time. I said, and her father is a federal prosecutor. Did they come arrest you? She said, yes, in Cleveland, Mississippi. I said, whole Fed team or just some cops? Because I was wondering about this. And she said it was just cops. That's not how the FBI runs, guys. They were already trying to keep this under wraps. If she'd have made it out that the boys were all there, I would have been more dubious. But I know how they operate. When they're trying to get people to snitch, they try to keep their arrest completely under records to prevent YouTube videos like this from being made. She said, and I said, and the prosecutor number 1, back to him now, and he told you he would drop the charges if you testified against me. And I said, if prosecutor number 2 touched your case, it has to be thrown out because it's a conflict of interest. This is number 2, the father of the one of the guys she had sex with. And she said, yeah, he knows my mom. Referring to prosecutor number 1. Prosecutor number 1, the guy that really, really hates me, knows this girl's mom. I said, I knew you wouldn't do that to me. She says, to be honest, I blocked a lot of it out. What do you want to know? She said, prosecutor number 1 told me what questions he would ask and what to say. Again, this is all speculation, but if this is true, this is tampering with a witness. This is malicious prosecution. This is a crime. I mean, I don't know what perjury is constituted as, but this is, if I'm not mistaken, multiple crimes here that prosecutor number 1 is committing. This is all alleged. I have no proof that this happened. I said, you can remember, Don't you do this to me right now. Because I thought she was kind of backing up off of it, and I was really needing my closure here. Tell me about it. Oh my God, I can forgive you. I can get this blackness off of my soul. I knew you wouldn't have testified against me for no reason. Sorry if I sound dramatic. At this point, I refer back to what she just said. I said, did he specifically tell you what to answer? She said there was no fucking way I was going to be labeled a sex offender. Yeah, dude, in reference to me asking if he told her what to say. She said, I wouldn't have missed class and driven to court. And these other FBI guys did too. I'm not sure what she's referring to there. Oh, they told her what to say. Okay. She said they promised they wouldn't say I was your ex, but they did. As soon as she got on the stand at my sentencing hearing, they were like, so you're his ex-girlfriend, right? And she was like, come on, bro. I said, so you had a threesome with him. Was it a free-for-all or whatever, like Redacted did that one time? She says it was just those two. It was just them. I'm really sorry. It was extremely selfish of me. I said, it's okay. You were what, 18? What did they charge you with? Here I apparently took a screenshot, tried to take a screenshot. I'm guessing my hands were shaking from this revelation, and it looks like I hit my volume and then screenshotted. But I said, what was the charge? Just sex with a minor, 2 counts? And they agreed to drop all charges if you said what prosecutor number 1 told you to say? She said, I was really fucked up, and we took pictures and videos. So they tried to charge me with possession of child pornography. Technically, Mississippi can't charge statutory unless that person is 4 years younger than the 18-year-old. And so whenever I said they said that they would drop the charges, she said yes, but they didn't say it straight up. I said, okay. If they didn't say it straight up, how did they say it? Surely you got either a Rule 35 or a 5K1 and had to sign something. How did they word it? She says, I was on heroin. Nobody knows that either. I don't remember it. I'd like to briefly point out that this girl struggled with addiction. So have I. I've done heroin, guys. Like, I don't want anybody trying to find this girl or figure out who she is or anything like that. Like, let this girl live her life, okay? She was fucked up. She was young and she made a mistake. And I don't hold it against her. Neither should you. She says, yeah, they said shit and I signed shit. In reference to saying this will all go away if you do what we want, she says, prosecutor number 1 told my mom that, but never directly to me. So he was clearly trying to watch his back a little bit here. And I said, and she told you. So you knew that by saying what he told you to say, the charges against you would be dropped. She said, yes. So apparently I got a little out of order here, I guess, with these numberings. But she claims that she was given a PowerPoint presentation by the prosecution that reminded her of the things to say about me right before she came out. This is referenced later, but this one is first in the order here for some reason. So I said, did the PowerPoint say anything about your motive for not calling the cops on me, by the way? Like the family thing? She said, no, but he talked about that. And I said, so he told you to mention that I threatened your family? Because that just always struck me as so weird that they were like, why didn't you call the cops? She said, he said he was going to kill my family. And I'm like, that seems very dramatic here. I mean, like, nobody was she was never sketched out about me saying, I don't know. And she said that you could be a possible threat to my family. And I said, okay, so he led you into that. I got to admit, that seems super dramatic even to me. And she said, yeah. There's a little bit of proof for you right there that I never threatened this girl's family. Even she is like, they told me to say that. And I was like, that was dramatic. And she was like, yeah. Periodically, the colors of the background changed with that Alcatel phone. I'm not sure exactly what triggered it. I don't think it was different days. I'm not sure. It seemed like every time I opened it, a lot of times there would be different color spectrums for who I was texting. She said, it's super embarrassing. I'm so sorry. You have no idea. I said, did the prosecutor tell you what to say? He led you through the questions and answers? I forgive you. I swear to God, I forgive you. And I do. She said, yes, he had a PowerPoint. I said, what? Of questions and answers? So like I said, this is a little out of order apparently in my chronological history of the text here. She said, yep. I said, what? Was that right before you went on? I don't see the response to that. I said, so you had the pictures and videos on your phone or computer. I forgive you. Please, just a little more. I was asking for more information. She said, yeah, it was on my iCloud. I said, but did he show you the PowerPoint right before you went on? And it looks like I don't have the text. Oh, right here. But did he show you the PowerPoint right before you came out or weeks in advance? She said, right before I came out. I said, he can lose his license to practice law for all of this. Seriously, this was insanely illegal. If you tell me the feds everything you just told me, legally sensitive, we will translate it to a happy ending is assured for all. I said, and there will be 100 documentaries about this. They will threaten you with sex offender status and perjury and all sorts of things, and they really might indict you, but if you stick to your guns, happy ending, legally redacted again. She said, I'm scared of them, Josh. What if they put me in jail and I have to register as a sex offender? I said, if you do the right thing and tell the truth, you're going to become a victim and a hero too. Because the government screwed us both and blackmailed us and beat us around. I never knew. You're a victim too. Join me. I was unaware that she had been pressured into this like this, man. She said, I've been too scared to tell the truth, but being sober is based on a program of rigorous honesty and doing the right thing, and I think I did in this instance. She absolutely did, 100%. I've got no qualms with this girl at all, and sobriety and honesty go hand in hand. She said, I don't want to talk about the fact that I was facing a possession of child pornography charge. And then she told me that she was glad I was telling my mom about it because I wanted my mom to get in on this and understand why her baby boy went to prison for something he was never going to do. I said, I just did. I swear on my life. I told her that potential happy ending for the legal outcome here. And we need to make sure that you are protected too. I told her that if you stick to your guns, no matter what happened, told them everything you told me about what they really did to you, everything's going to be fine. So at this point she said, but you know how the system is. They could fuck me and I could go to prison or whatever. And she said, what did your mom say? I said, I don't think that will happen. I'm almost positive. You're a victim too. And you are 18. Yeah, they'll say they're going to prosecute you for it, and they very well could indict you for it. But from what you've told me, there is no jury on this planet Earth that will convict you. When you were 18 years old. You weren't trying to manufacture it for sale. You were a teenager who made a mistake. An 18-year-old with two 17-year-olds, it's not that fucking serious. They will threaten you, and they might go so far as to indict you. But you will beat this charge if you stand with me. I promise. And I said I wouldn't send my worst enemy to prison. I swear on my life. And then I apparently said something legally sensitive. I sent her these texts like 2 weeks ago, so I don't remember what that specifically was. Probably about a legal plan of action here. She said, will you help me every step of the way? I want to hear your voice. I said, yes, I promise. I told my mom everything except for the details of the charge. Can I please tell her that much? She is crying with joy right now and is so proud of you for this. I didn't tell her your crime, but she has to find out. You know my mom. She will help and protect you. I'll call you back in a sec. I'm in a meeting here. So I was at the halfway house. Like I said, I'd just gotten out of prison the first time. This is in, September of 2017. And I was in a meeting at the halfway house. They used to do town halls and stuff like that. And my mom was extremely happy and extremely proud to finally have some degree of closure for herself about why her baby boy went to prison for several years for something that everybody knows that I wasn't going to do, and which we can now prove they knew I wasn't going to do. She said, you can tell her. I give you permission. I said something legal, apparently. Then I said, you will tell them what you told me. It's going to be hard, but we can fix everything. And then I'm not sure if this is a different time or not. Yeah, this is a whole different time of receiving the text. Still not sure about these coloration changes here, but I said, did the prosecutor tell you what to say about me in the PowerPoint? She said, yeah. I said, did he correct you if you said something wrong? She said, yep. I said, wow, do you remember anything he corrected you about? She said, the 420 date. You said the wrong day? They made a big deal out of this, and it was repeatedly all over the place about 420 this and 420 that, because I said it's Hitler's birthday and the date of the Columbine Massacre, and it's National Pot Smoking Day. Just a fun little interesting fact, I guess, as if I could give two shits less about Hitler, as if that has anything to do with anything at all. But I just said it, So it's funny that they made such an emphasis about me saying that when apparently their witness didn't even remember the actual date that I said. 4/20/13, which transpired to be a Saturday. They again tried to make it out as though she was the one who realized that. Before we could say it was a Saturday, they made it out like she was like, oh, but then I realized it was a Saturday. Like, woman, please. She said, yeah, but they showed her the wrong day. I said, ha, what did you say, and what did he respond? He just showed the slide. So again here, he was legally not telling her what to say, covering his ass a little, allegedly here. He just was like, remember? This is what you said. Some straight Jesse Miskelly from the West Memphis 3 shit, putting words in their mouth. I said, what else did you have wrong that he wanted you to correct? She said, nothing else, because I just memorized the PowerPoint. So you don't remember anything else it said? She said, and I was supposed to say you had all the materials to make a pipe bomb, and I don't even know what that even is, really. Which, of course, the government had to stand up and say that there were no materials in my house. There were no pipes. There were no bombs. There were no bomb-making materials. There were no gasoline, no gunpowder, not even sharp knives in the kitchen, is exactly what the special agent on the case said. Not even sharp knives in the kitchen. I'm not sure if they even have butcher knives. So needless to say, that was yet another reason why this girl's testimony should not have been accepted. Everything that she said could not be proven to be true, but since we couldn't prove that I never had it, they just accepted it. Okay, it looks like that's about it. I had an editing mistake here a minute ago and had to come back and finish this, so I'm really hoping I didn't miss anything. It's looking like I didn't. Yeah, it looks like we're good. That's all the text that I have saved from this. These are all the ones that I screenshotted and sent to my mom after this was unfolding. The thing with the government, guys, is that they can say anything, okay? And remember, this whole thing, I'm not saying that all this is true. This is what she told me. This is if what she said is true, this is crazy. Because I mentioned this, I think the last time that I went on the official podcast, I mentioned that the government could come in here and say, you molested 1,000 goats. And then the judge is going to look to you and expect you to defend against having molested 1,000 goats. And if you can't come up with proof that you didn't do it, you're hit. He's taking that. He's taking that as evidence. That's diehard conviction evidence right there. They can say and do anything that they want to do, and the burden is on you on a hard defensive while they're coming with an aggressive offensive. The burden is on you to prove that what they say is not true. It's completely backwards of how the system is supposed to work and the way that it's written on paper. You're supposed to be innocent until proven to be guilty. It's just not the reality of the situation. I never believed that. I never would have thought that until it happened to me. I mean, I was just the normal guy that thought bad people go to prison. You make a mistake and you go. They're not going to send you to prison if you are not guilty, if you're not a bad person. I believed that like most people do. You take it for granted, I guess, you know. And then when I got caught in the net of the federal prosecution system, I came to realize it's about numbers for these people. It's about examples. And also there's for-profit prisons in the government, you know. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't heard of this happening or anything or heard accusations, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody that owns a prison goes and slips a judge a little check, you know, gives him a little 50K, 100K, you know, like, bro, no probation, send them away. Sentence these dudes to time, man, because they're going to make way more money than that in a given year's time, you know. I don't have evidence of that happening. I'm not saying that happened with my judge. My judge in most cases is a very, very reasonable guy. He's actually known for being compassionate, seeing both sides of it, and I have to admit that, you know, he's not a bad judge. He hated me, and he hated my case. I've seen him give people some serious breaks, man. The guy, the judge that sentenced me had a lot of compassion in his heart for other people, and I have to acknowledge that. Just because he hated me, went hard on me, made an example out of me, you know, and had an agenda to serve with my case, I'm not saying he's a bad judge. He made the right move for my life from a bad place in his heart. I got it together in there. I had spiritual awakenings and epiphanies and life movements, you know, and realizations about what I was doing wrong with my life, and realized that I had been pointing my finger at the outside world my entire life, saying everybody's getting me, everybody's holding me back. I would just be flying if it wasn't for everybody else. And I realized that wasn't going to work, guys. Pointing your finger and blaming other people for why your life sucks never gets you anywhere, and it's going to keep you feeling like you're held down. I had to realize it was time to take it into my hands. He did this from a place of hatred and darkness in his heart. Is why he sentenced me to this much time. But it was still the right move in the end. I'm not thanking him. And it's not because of him that I had this happen. I thank myself for it, you know, and I thank my wife, because it wasn't until I went back to prison that I really decided to get together. But if what this says is true, guys, if I slip up on the stand and say my birthday is December 2nd instead of December 1st, boom, perjury, contempt of court. You're facing 10 years in prison. You tell a witness to say something, you're going to prison, dude. You're going to prison. If you tell them, you tamper with a witness, that is a very serious crime. Why can the prosecutors do it if what she said is true? Why are they not being held accountable for this? Why can they say anything that they want? And if I prove them wrong and I prove that they were lying, it's, oh, well, okay, I guess he wins that point. If I say something and they prove I'm lying, I'm going to prison, hands down. You're getting a new charge, man. You're getting contempt of court, perjury, or tampering with a witness. If not all three, stacked consecutive, 30 years, 10 years for each one, ran back to back to back. It's crazy, you know, that this could even happen. And like I said, I have no proof to you that this really happened, okay? I'm not saying it did happen. I'm not saying the prosecutors did this. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. I'm saying this is what she told me from her perspective about why she said what she said on the stand. Because I'll tell you guys, I've been telling you, they lied. My ex-girlfriends lied on that stand. Here's a little bit of evidence for you about their side of the story. I'm not just saying it anymore. I'm not just saying they lied. I've been waiting a long time. I've had this information for 3 years. I've been waiting a long time to get off of this information. This is exactly word for word on my word to whatever you believe in, whether it's the powers that be of the universe or God. And I would not lie on this with my daughter at stake here. These are texts from her. This is what she told me. This is the truth about what she said happened. Okay. Now, in regard to my other girlfriend, let's address that briefly. The girlfriend that I was dating at the time of my arrest that lied about me as well. When I got out of prison last time, when I got home on house arrest, She emailed me at my very, very old email that I've had since I was like 12 that now has, for some reason, it got wiped when I went back to prison. I don't know why email stayed in there from 2004, 2005 up until I went back to prison and got out and needed some emails from it. Then it's all wiped for some reason. I guess Yahoo just like wiped a ton of accounts or something. But she emailed me. She's engaged or married at this point in time. I'm not even sure, with her other high school sweetheart. I hope that she's happy now. I don't hold anything against them. And I'm pretty sure that he had gotten arrested. She told me from the jump, she wrote me a letter when I first got to jail about how she was hanging out with this couple friend of ours. And you're never going to guess who lives in the same apartment complex. This guy. And I was like, all right, that doesn't look good. He came to jail. He came to the jail like 3-4 days after that. And he was going to a different pod across from me. So I yelled through the door. I was like, hey, what's up, man? And he turned with a big smile on his face because I called him my name. He's like, hey, I got a friend in here. And when he saw my face, he goes, and I was like, yeah, he's fucking my girl. It is what it is. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that he got busted because he was in the drug trade. And I'm pretty sure that he got busted because they were following my ex-girlfriend around. Just like they did to this girl. What a weird coincidence. The guy that she hooked up with was one of the prosecutor's sons, somebody with a direct way to hold her over a bucket of water. So she never told me that happened. She expressed interest in possibly breaking the relationship that she had at the time. She actually went into the bathroom and ran the bathtub to call me on the phone at one point. This is when I was out the first time, not recently. I'm not talking to none of these girls. I'm married now. I got a baby and I'm in love for the first time. And like, you can miss me with it. But she was very, very kind towards me. She did not want to talk about why she lied about me, so I can't offer that. This is strictly speculation. But what I have here is what this girl actually told me is the reason why she lied about me, guys. And I've been waiting a really long time to get this off my chest. This is, I served somebody else's time, man. I went to prison for somebody else's time, for somebody else's agenda, for somebody else's point to prove. And they threw the book at me when I was 19 years old and sent me away for a significant amount of time. By the time that I got out, it had been about a fifth of my life in prison. So I'm not even into conspiracy theories, guys. I can't stand conspiracy theories, but this was a really, really wild case. This was completely insane. And to be the subject of this and the butt of it and the victim here is wild. Now, I will reiterate that it was the best thing for my life in the end. There was no rehabilitation in there. The judge didn't send me to a soft spot or a good prison, where you can just relax and have a great time and think about life and, sign up for a philosophy class. I read lots of books in there. I reevaluated my life. I talked to my family members. I figured out what my family members needed from me, what I had been doing wrong, what was holding me back. I did this. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. Then I got out and got help from my community, So don't let me belittle you guys' role in this, because everybody that supports me, everybody that watches these videos, everybody that likes it, everybody that donates to the Patreon or donates on Twitch, you guys have helped me be the success story, and the best revenge is success. Okay? I'm not out for revenge. I'm not holding a grudge against these people, but just because my life ended up positive because this happened doesn't mean that I should not call attention to it, put it in a spotlight, and hopefully prevent this from happening to somebody else that might not have a positive outcome at the end of the story. It's very important that this is not okay. They can't do this to people. They can't just lie about you, make up what they want, and blackmail your ex-girlfriends if they did do that in order to land their political agenda. So I'm very happy to share this with you guys. It's very important to me. And if you made it this far in the video, man, thank you very, very much for watching. This is the biggest bombshell regarding my case. And I would just like to, I mainly release this because I'm going on the official podcast again soon. Maybe if you're watching this now, I've already been on there for the second time. And I wanted to drop a bombshell in accordance with it because I haven't released this to anybody. I've done shows and interviews and stuff like that and never released this information. And I was thinking, I could send them the information and talk about it on the stream, on the video, and then they would have to edit the video or whatever. So I just decided the best thing in the end was for me to make a video showing the text and explaining what she said happened. Doesn't mean it happened. This is alleged. I'm not saying that the prosecutors did this or the judge or anything. I'm not saying anybody knew about this or actually did it. Not saying that. It would just be easier for me to explain what she said happened and then mention it on the podcast and direct people to this video. So this is going to be the most intense video that I've ever edited. I got the good camera out and the microphones, and I don't know how to use Sony Vegas, but I'm going to learn. But anyways, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you understand this case a little bit more in depth now, because this is the biggest crux of my case. After all those teachers stood up for me and mental evaluators stood up for me, and I still went to prison for a very long time. And here's what apparently really happened behind the scenes, according to my ex-girlfriend. Doesn't mean it's true. Just saying. This is all alleged. Not saying the prosecutors did anything wrong, but I was told by somebody who testified that they did, and I'm now telling you what I was told. All right, I love you guys, man. We'll be back next week with another Monday upload. I hope you guys are staying happy. I hope you're staying free. Most importantly, I hope you are staying safe. All right, come hang out on twitch.tv/jpillault. You already know the business. I'm there. Just view it as a just chatting stream while a guy who's just chatting happens to play RuneScape. If you don't play RuneScape, just come kick it with me anyways. You can ask me questions about prison, ask me stories, ask for clarification on this because I can finally talk about this now. And we'll have a good time, guys. The Discord's down below. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters, guys. I love you, my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for helping me feed and raise my daughter. We got exclusives on there for all kinds of people, exclusive Patreon videos every Sunday and stuff. It's a good time over there, so be sure to check it out. We also got the merchandise, including my Prison ID hoodie that we released like 2 weeks ago that somebody I think actually bought one of. So I love you guys, man. I'll see y'all next week with the Monday upload. Stay out of trouble, and I'll be back very, very soon. Shout out to the official podcast fans.